if you'd love to see me sew up all this dart line so that you can see how it really looks, give it thumbs up. I need likes on this video. Once again, beautiful people, so in today's video we are going to be manipulating different darts. So we would ask ourselves, what is actually dart manipulation? That manipulation is when you move your darts or your basic bodice pattern to other parts of the pattern. So for instance, moving this shoulder dart to maybe the neckline, or to maybe the center front, or to the armhole, or to the side seam, that is what we call that manipulation. So I'm going to teach you how we can go about it in different ways. So as usual, I've already prepared my makeshift pattern papers that we'll be using for each of the different darts we'll be looking at today. On my lines, I have the chest line, I have my bust line, I have my true bust line, and this pattern is just to my half length. And first off, we are going to start with a bodice that have just the shoulder darts, excluding your waist dart. If you have not seen my video on how I make my basic bodice pattern, I have the link up here in the cards. You can click that link to watch that video, or check in the description box. You'll see other videos that you'll be interested in. So this one, we already have the shoulder dart here. What we're going to do is we want to remove this waist dart. So now, since we have our shoulder dart here, I want to close up my waist dart. To close it up, you put the waist dart, when you close it up like this, you see it doesn't relax. Yeah, and we always want, whenever you're manipulating that, we always want the pattern to lay flat, because this is actually a flat pattern, not a 3D draping effect. So now that we have this, we can see it doesn't lay flat. To make it lay flat, we have to draw along the middle of this dart up onto that point there. So let me bring you guys closer so you see me. So we'll draw along the middle of that dart, and now you see that this pattern lays flat. So different style lines you can use for this shoulder dart. When you have it this way, you put paper on there and you close the darts up. So let me do that. So this is now the new shoulder dart. Make sure to make this place on a straight line as well. So you either redraw the line there so it's now on a straight line, or you place paper and draw it well. You place paper under. So here I'll just redraw the line and cut it off, because everything has to be on a straight line. So this is how this one will be. When you have your shoulder darts this way, you can gather it, you can pleat the dart here, or you can go ahead to still close it up. But if you're closing it up, do not sew the dart up onto this point. You have to measure, you measure about 2.5 inches back up here. Just measure. It shouldn't get to your bust line. Your dart should not be on your bust line. This is the bust line here. This is the bust line here. Your dart should be about 1 inch above your bust line. So if this is my bust line, my dart should stop here, right? So now this is where I will draw my new dart to if I want to close it up. So you see I have 3 styles. I have made 3 styles with this dart line. So for this one, all I'll need to do is just sew it along the new darts, like so. So it's close it up that way. That's if I want to close up the shoulder dart. And you can see that the bust fullness will still be there. So you'll be having something like this on your bodice without a waist dart. So you can see that looks beautiful. This is our mid shoulder dart manipulation. Let's move to the next one. So for the tip of the shoulder dart, this one we're going to move the shoulder dart to the tip. So what we'll do is we are going to leave this waist dart in this regard, so that means there'll be a waist dart and this shoulder dart will be moved here. So what we do is we close up the shoulder dart. I want to close it up facing the neckline like so. Let it be on this side. Now we have closed the shoulder darts. Before then, we should trim off this excess. Remember, everything should be on a straight line. Once you close the shoulder darts, the next thing to do is to transfer it to the tip of the shoulder, because that is where we want our dart to be. So you're going to transfer it back to this X mark here, because this is the end of the shoulder tip, or till wherever your pattern lays flat. So now it has relaxed. So what I'll do is I'll place paper under. So this is where the new shoulder dart will be. When you're sewing, you just sew along this part. When you're joining your stitch, you fold it along that part, yeah, and you join it up. And instead of your shoulder dart to be in the middle, it is now at this tip with your waist dart, and it forms a very good, beautiful style line. So this is your shoulder tip dart. Sorry, there was an error here. We're moving to the next one. Next one is our waist dart. On the waist dart, we want to completely close the shoulder dart and transfer everything to the waist line. Now you see it's not relaxing. What we now need to do is to draw a line. So we can draw a line getting to this shoulder, this tip of the shoulder that's here, across the middle of the dart, so that when we cut on that line, it will relax. Now you see it has relaxed. We'll put paper under. Now that we've placed paper under, when you want to sew this dart, you can't sew it up onto this bust line here. Your dart cannot get here. So what we need to do is to draw it back to where this initial waist dart started from, which is about here. So our new dart will be from this point to this point, and from here to this point. So sorry, that line is not straight. Yeah, so this is how your new dart will be. So when you are sewing your dart close like this. So when you sew your dart close like that, this is how the bust will be, right? Of course, it's going to be more smoother because this is paper. All this, there won't be any sharp edge, and it will even get to that point. This is where the dart starts from. So that will be your new waist dart that you want to remove the shoulder dart completely. This is what you'll be having. So the next dart we'll be looking at is the center front waist dart, closing up the shoulder dart and leaving 2 darts at the waistline. So let's do that. So we close this up, then we come here right through the middle of this, through this tip here. When you open it up, this is the dart you will have by the center front. But of course, let's put paper under. Alright, so now that we have this dart here, of course, remember that your dart can only stop at about this point. That's on a straight line here. So that is where, in the middle of that shoulder, that is where your dart can stop. You can't sew your dart up onto this point because you'll be sewing on the bust line, and any dart that goes up on the bust line, doesn't look good at all. So you have to redraw your dart to this point. So from here, so you can have two darts on the front, one dart here. So you sew one dart, then you sew the other darts, right? So you have two darts on the left, two darts on the right. So this is my center front waist dart. We're looking at the mid armhole darts now. So to do that, we're going to leave the waist dart and close up the shoulder darts. So once you close up the shoulder darts, the next thing to do is to transfer the darts to this mid armhole here. This is in a case where you do not actually want to do a princess dart, so you transfer the darts to this armhole. Let us put paper. Now you see that this armhole here, see this piece is out, so retrace it. So this is a mid armhole dart. So you're sewing this one close, like so, and you're sewing this one close, like so as well. The next one we want to look at is a straight side dart. Remember to leave your waist dart, close up the shoulder dart. Now our side dart will be coming from this line here up onto the tip of the shoulder darts, like so. So this is our straight side dart. You come to your shoulder tip and measure about 1.5 inches or 4 cm. You either do 4 cm or 1.5 inches, the same thing. Measure it from that point away and redraw a new dart. We did this so that when you are sewing and you get to this point, you don't have a sharp tip on that part. So this part will help soften the dart on that part, so it ends here. And please, when you're sewing your darts, do not reinforce your stitch as such. So you see the side dart here with your waist dart here, and you have a perfect style line. So the next one we want to do is our French dart. Remember, leave your waist dart, close the shoulder dart up. For the French dart, I'll come to my side dart and measure about 3 inches down from the armhole. Okay, so this is my French dart, and when you are cutting your French dart, make sure you don't sew up onto this point. You measure about 1.5 inches away from that shoulder tip, like we did for the side dart. Measure 1.5 inches away and you redraw your new dart line there. So this will be the new dart line. Some French darts could be lower than 3 inches. You could do 3, you could do 4, whichever. So this is my French dart. Alright, so the next dart we're looking at is the mid neck dart. So as always, leave your waist as close up the shoulder dart. So now that we have closed up the shoulder dart, we'll come to our mid neck line and draw a line from that shoulder tip right up to the mid neck. So we can see how this looks. I'll put paper under. So this is my mid neck dart. The next dart we are looking at is the center front neck dart. Remember, leave your waist dart close up this shoulder dart. So this is our center front neck dart, and last but not the least, we are doing the center front bust level dart. So what we'll do in this case is to close the shoulder dart, leave your waist dart. Now that we've closed the shoulder dart, trim off this part. And now we'll draw a line to coming from the shoulder tip straight up on this line. We cut this open like so. So this could be a cowl neck, or you can leave it as a style line. So that is the end of our tutorial, guys. Alright guys, so if you did like this video, give me a thumbs up. Also, if you'd love to see me stitch up all these darts, all these different dart manipulations, give me likes. I need so much likes on this video so that I'll be able to make that video, because I have to go and get fabric and do this in different styles. So give me so much likes. Subscribe guys, subscribe guys if you are yet to. And till we see in our next tutorial, stay safe, God bless you, bye.